Let me show you what we harvested yesterday morning. About 10 pounds of wild boar meat. After a full day and night of smoking, it's now ready for long-term storage. There's also a sexy Look at this color. With this much meat, we've got enough for breakfast for the next week. This is all thanks to the wild boar trout we made a couple of days ago. It's all about probability. Look at this large boar cage we set up. It's been here for days with no movement at all. Even the bait meat has started. Where did we go wrong, bro? Maybe the location of the cage isn't good enough. To ensure a stable food supply on this island, grading our traps. If this cage is in the wrong spot, we'll just move it to a better one. We've also changed its shape, making it bigger. This way, the boars will feel the mechanism remains the same. A trigger device inside, and a wooden gate that quickly falls shut. Once we set up the bait and pull up the gate, everything's ready. If a boar enters and eats the bait, the trap will trigger inside with no way to escape. Alright, the boar cage relocation is Let's complete. See if we can catch a whole group of wild boars before leaving this island. We shouldn't spend all our time on this boar hunt. It's still early. Let's head into the jungle for some exploration. Our goal in exploring the jungle is to expand our food options. We can't just eat seafood, and we need some vegetables too. A balanced diet will improve our quality of life. I quickly made a new discovery. A plant that looks like a potato. There's quite a lot of them. Big and small. I have learned about edible plants from the locals. And now that knowledge came in handy, in about half an hour. Big head, and I gathered plenty of these. It's a real island treasure. We can roast them, or make soup, or eat them with seafood. Just thinking about it makes my mouth water. This island has a rich ecosystem, and we've encountered some interesting animals. What is this? No idea. Looks like a flying squirrel. Yeah, and it has a pouch on its belly. Maybe it's a baby carrier. Possibly. Let's not disturb it, let it do its thing. It moves so slowly, kinda clumsy looking. Jin, let's keep exploring. Who knows? We might find something big. When exploring, the most common thing you'll see is barely walk a few steps before one scurries past you. Hey, did you see that? I just grabbed one so easily. And it's many people might think having lizards on an island is scary. But for us, it's not because we can treat them as emergency food. That way, we don't have to worry about survival on the island if we don't have to eat them. We'd rather not. Today's jungle exploration, we had a pretty good harvest. Besides finding some small potatoes, discovered some edible wild berries. But I wasn't the only one enjoying them. There were also some little animals I couldn't name. Other than that, during the next hour or so of exploring, Big Head and I didn't find anything new. So we picked up some coconut husks and decided to prepare for the next step. Today's jungle exploration was quite successful. With all these small potatoes, our meals will be more varied. Didn't we say we'd eat them with seafood? Since there's still time, I decided to go down. Don't just stand around firewood and get those potatoes ready. Alright, today, I'm heading to the southern part of the island. I like to try different spots every time I dive, because I feel like there might be more sea creatures passing through here. Just swimming a few dozen meters. Diving for food has now become a daily routine for me. Not only does it provide us with food, but it also gives me a sense of satisfaction. Along the way, I found some spider conchs with They're the most common and easiest to catch here. This new spot has lots of large, isolated reef. A great place for big catches to hide. And why do I say that? Just keep watching and you'll see. I never overlook any possible hiding spots for food while diving. So, I always end up with some kind of harvest. Inside this coral cave, I saw some lobster and sure enough, a big lobster was deep in the cave. I had to reach in with one hand and try to grab it. It sensed danger instantly and started struggling like crazy. It broke off one of its own antennae and bolted out of the cave, swimming away. But doing that only exhausted its strength, leaving it helpless in the end. Wow, I caught a huge lobster, around 2 to 3 kilograms. Haha, it's huge. It's actually kind of strange. After catching this big lobster, I didn't catch anything else for quite a while. I was thinking, well, one big lobster is good enough. Then, all of a sudden, I spotted a big one. It was a bulletfish. It was resting in the gap. I didn't quite understand why it chose that spot. It was completely stuck. If it encountered danger, there was no way to escape. That was good news for me. I started trying to catch it, but the harder I pulled, the deeper it wedged itself in. This went on for a long time. The cameraman and I took turns. We tried all sorts of methods. Eventually, we had only after breaking the spike with a knife and a rock did we finally pull it out. Wow, What a huge bullet fish. It must be around 7 or 8 pounds. The cameraman and I struggled with it for over half an hour, totally exhausted. Got to big ones today. A giant lobster and a bullet fish. This bullet fish was actually an unexpected catch. I was just about to head back when I found it. Catching it took a ton of effort. In the end, I had to break its spike with a rock before I could pull it out. Seriously, it must be 7 or 8 pounds. It's getting late. Let's head back. Jin, try this little potato. I roasted it a while ago. It looks like it has a high starch content. Let's see how it tastes. So good. Its sweet tastes like roasted sweet potatoes. Having some vegetarian food on the island is really a rare treat. Right, isn't it delicious? It just rained a little, so I didn't bother restarting the fire. Out here, you can't always be too picky. Sometimes, when you're just trying to get a meal quickly, but hey, this is how it's a little charred. Should be cooked. Let me try a piece of meat. This tastes unique, kind of like roasted chicken. This lobster tail looks pretty good. Go ahead and try it. Eat before it's all gone. There's a lot of meat in the lobster head too. Hey Jin, how did you catch that bullet fish? It was stuck in the rocks, so I just pulled it out. Man, I wish I had your skills. Then you wouldn't have to work so hard. Maybe in my next life, Jin. Hey, are you looking down on me? Just handle things on land. I'm fine taking care of things on But isn't exploring the ocean the most exciting part of island survival? It's not as fun as you think. Every dive is exhausting. I spend hours swimming, and catching that bullet fish nearly suffocated me. I think I'll just stick to land. All right, enough talk, let's eat.